Imagine navigating a world where reality itself is endlessly redefined, not just by the rise and fall of empires or seismic shifts in technology, but by those rare individuals whose ideas crack open whole new ways of understanding ourselves, society, and the universe. These five figures have challenged the boundaries of human thought. Their concepts have rippled through centuries, reshaping social orders, upending scientific certainty, and even influencing the way we view our own minds. What makes their contributions so revolutionary, and how do their insights still inform our lives today? Across history, certain thinkers have managed to reach beyond the facts and circumstances of their age, offering ideas that endure precisely because they question what everyone else tends to take for granted. Whether it's our social structures, spiritual values, scientific knowledge, understanding of the self, or the nature of wellness and disease, these visionaries forced society to look again, and often to look deeper. First, consider Karl Marx. In a world torn by inequality, with an industrial revolution feeding both unprecedented riches and crushing poverty, Marx asked questions that most preferred to ignore. Why does so much wealth gather in the hands of so few? Is this economic system truly natural or simply one way things could be? Marx's answer, through his philosophy of historical materialism and analysis of class struggle, went far beyond economic critique. His vision of history was one of constant upheaval, progress built on tension between opposing forces. Capitalism, in Marx's eyes, was not the endpoint of human development, but a stage pregnant with its own demise, ready to give way to a new classless society. By insisting that social structures and ideologies often serve to maintain existing power relations, Marx invited generations to critically question the status quo and envision radical alternatives. His influence extends far beyond communism and revolutionaries. It has shaped sociology, philosophy, economics, and even our everyday vocabulary of social justice. Now journey back several centuries earlier to the world of Confucius. Living in a time of chronic warfare and societal breakdown in ancient China, Confucius offered something different, a philosophy not of domination or individual glory, but of harmonious relationships and moral cultivation. For Confucius, the health of a society began with the character of its individuals. His teachings emphasized 5 constant virtues: benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and faithfulness, and nested them in a framework of mutual respect and obligation. Rulers should rule justly, parents should guide kindly, children should return respect, and friends should treat one another with sincerity. In placing ethical conduct, education, and empathy at the center of public life, Confucius reimagined governance and social order as matters of virtue rather than violence. His ideas became the bedrock of Chinese society for over 2 millennia, influencing not just politics, but education, family life, and how people everywhere make sense of their moral responsibilities. Shift now to early modern Europe, standing in front of a telescope with Galileo Galilei. Before Galileo turned his gaze skyward, received wisdom, rooted in ancient philosophy and church doctrine, declared Earth the unmoving center of the universe. The heavens, it was said, were perfect, eternal, and unchanging. Galileo's meticulous observations, moons orbiting Jupiter, mountains on the moon, phases of Venus, were revolutionary because they contradicted this worldview. By insisting on direct observation and mathematical reasoning, Galileo helped establish the foundations of modern science. He championed the principle that truth about nature should be sought through evidence and experiment, not authority or tradition. Galileo's work triggered conflicts with powerful institutions, but his legacy cemented a mindset that would spark the scientific revolution and, eventually, the technological world we inhabit today. In the early 20th century, another journey turned inward instead of outward. Sigmund Freud sought to illuminate a realm that had until then been in the shadows, the human unconscious. Freud's theories upended the notion that people are rational actors, always in control of their destinies. Instead, he argued, much of human behavior and suffering comes from hidden drives, childhood experiences, and inner conflicts. Dreams, slips of the tongue, anxieties, these were not meaningless quirks, but windows into our suppressed thoughts and desires. Freud's psychoanalytic theory didn't just shape modern psychology and psychiatry. It rippled outwards, influencing art, literature, film, and the way we see identity, trauma, and relationships. In helping humanity see itself as layered, complex, and often opaque, even to itself, Freud challenged us to approach our inner lives with curiosity, honesty, and compassion. Finally, travel back to the medieval Islamic Golden Age with Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna. A polymath steeped in both the ancient Greek and Islamic intellectual traditions, Ibn Sina was a trailblazer in philosophy and medicine. His magnum opus, the Book of Healing, set out a logical, systematic approach to knowledge, blending philosophy with science and metaphysics. In medicine, his Canon of Medicine became the authoritative text in Europe and the Middle East for centuries, revolutionizing approaches to diagnosis, infection, and treatments. He argued that reason and empirical evidence, not just tradition or superstition, should guide the healing arts. Ibn Sina showed the world that the search for understanding, whether of the cosmos, the body, or the mind, could be rigorous and unified, bridging faith and reason. His holistic vision laid the bedrock for medical science and the enduring quest for knowledge. Across continents and millennia, these five thinkers shifted not only what we know, but how we know and who we dare to be. Marx sparked revolutions in society, Confucius in ethics and governance, Galileo in the cosmos, Freud in the mind, and Ibn Sina in the realms of health and logic. The world we see, and the tools with which we make sense of it, are forever indebted to their courage and insight. Their historical impact is both profound and ongoing. Marx's theories continue to inspire movements for justice and critique of global capitalism. Confucian ethics remain a living force in East Asian societies and beyond, shaping everything from family relationships to government policy. The scientific method Galileo championed underpins our digital age and medical successes. Freud's explorations of the mind echo in therapy rooms and creative works across the globe. Ibn Sina's blending of scientific rigor with philosophical depth lights the way for interdisciplinary thought even now. What unites these figures isn't simply that they were clever or influential, it's that each asked, what if we looked again? If we refused to accept reality at face value, but dug deeper for meaning, for fairness, for truth? Their lives remind us that to question, to learn, to critique, and to imagine otherwise is to be human at our most vital. So, as you move through your own world, remember this. History is changed not only by those who rule, but by those who dare to rethink the rules themselves. Read boldly, question deeply, and let the lens of these giants inspire you to see, and perhaps even to change, the world anew.